On the night of August 22, 1999, a China Airlines MD-11 was on approach to Hong Kong International Airport. The flight was nearing the end of a routine trip from Bangkok to Taipei, with a scheduled stopover in Hong Kong. As the aircraft descended, it faced relentless tropical storm winds, driving rain, and a runway soaked with record-breaking rainfall. The tension in the cockpit grew as the storm tested the limits of the crew's skill and the aircraft's capabilities. Tragically, what happened after would claim 3 innocent lives and leave 52 others with serious injuries. But how did a standard landing approach turn into a catastrophic crash? And why was the pilot cleared for landing despite such hazardous weather conditions? This is the story of China Airlines Flight 642. On August 22, 1999, China Airlines Flight 642 was scheduled to fly from Bangkok to Taipei, with a planned stopover in Hong Kong. The aircraft, a McDonnell Douglas MD-11, was a 7-year-old long-haul jet that had been transferred to China Airlines from its subsidiary Mandarin Airlines. Despite its age and history, the aircraft was certified as airworthy and had no reported technical issues on the day of the flight. On board were 300 passengers and 15 crew members. The flight crew was very experienced. The captain, a 57-year-old veteran, had nearly 18,000 flight hours and nearly over 3,000 hours on the MD-11. The first officer, 36 years old, also logged nearly 3,000 hours on this aircraft type. Together, they had completed this route many times before, making it a routine trip for them. Before departure, the crew was briefed on Tropical Storm Sam, a severe weather system that had been battering Hong Kong throughout the day. The storm brought record-breaking rainfall, gusts exceeding 35 knots, and near-zero visibility. In anticipation of potential challenges, the captain ordered additional fuel, giving them the flexibility to hold, attempt multiple approaches, or divert if necessary. This decision, while prudent, pushed the aircraft close to its maximum allowable landing weight, adding another layer of complexity to the flight. With the pre-flight checks complete and passengers seated, the aircraft departed Bangkok without incident. However, as China Airlines Flight 642 climbed to cruising altitude, the weather near Hong Kong continued to deteriorate. Tropical Storm Sam in the region was now unleashing torrential rain and fierce winds. The crew, acutely aware of the storm's severity, monitored the conditions closely through the Automatic Terminal Information Service, ATIS, which reported winds gusting up to 45 knots and visibility dropping below 1,000 meters. In the cockpit, the captain and first officer prepared for the challenging approach ahead. The storm's crosswinds, coupled with the MD-11's near maximum landing weight, would require precise control and split-second decision-making. While the aircraft's systems indicated everything was operating normally, the unpredictable nature of the storm meant every decision carried high stakes. As the flight neared Hong Kong, the captain adjusted the flight path to avoid a particularly turbulent weather cell. This maneuver, approved by air traffic control, brought the crew some relief. The updated ATIS report confirmed that the crosswinds were just within operational limits, although passengers in the cabin had started to feel the intensity. The flight crew, however, remained composed. They activated the aircraft's anti-ice systems to prevent freezing rain from affecting critical surfaces. The captain briefed the first officer on their approach to runway 25 left, reviewing crosswind limits, missed approach procedures, and visibility requirements. But amidst the storm and mounting pressure, a key miscommunication occurred. The first officer mistakenly believed they were cleared for runway 25 right. As China Airlines Flight 642 descended toward Hong Kong International Airport, the tropical storm intensified. Strong crosswinds buffeted the MD-11 and heavy rain reduced visibility to near zero. The crew had been cleared for an instrument landing system approach to runway 25 left, but the turbulent conditions pushed the aircraft to its limits. At approximately 6:43 p.m., the aircraft was on final approach. The captain disengaged the autopilot at 700 feet, manually guiding the plane through the treacherous descent. With the nose angled into the crosswind, a technique known as crabbing, the crew attempted to align the MD-11 with the runway. Unfortunately, at 50 feet above the runway, the airspeed dropped drastically, due to a sudden loss of headwind combined with a reduction of engine thrust. Despite the captain's efforts to flare the aircraft and slow its descent, the MD-11 hit the runway hard. The right main landing gear collapsed upon impact, and the aircraft veered uncontrollably to the right. The MD-11 skidded off the runway and flipped onto its back as the right wing detached, igniting a massive fire fueled by the aircraft's fuel tanks. The aircraft's wreckage came to a halt inverted, engulfed in flames and smoke. Inside the cabin, many passengers were hung upside down, restrained by their seatbelts, as cabin crew scrambled to locate emergency equipment and guide survivors towards exits. Cabin crew members, despite their own injuries, worked tirelessly to assist the passengers, using flashlights to guide them toward the exits. Their quick thinking and bravery played a crucial role in the evacuation. Emergency response teams arrived within minutes, battling the fire and rescuing survivors. By the time the fire was brought under control, most of the passengers had been evacuated. Tragically, 3 passengers lost their lives, 2 of which were at the crash site and 1 who died later in hospital due to severe injuries. 52 others, including 6 crew members, sustained injuries ranging from minor to severe, with many requiring hospitalizations. In the aftermath of the crash, investigators from Hong Kong Civil Aviation Department, CAD, along with representatives from China Airlines and McDonnell Douglas, a subsidiary of Boeing at the time, began examining the wreckage to uncover the sequence of events that led to the disaster. Their goal was to understand what caused the catastrophic crash and to prevent similar incidents in the future. The investigation revealed that several factors had contributed to the crash. The primary cause was identified as the captain's inability to arrest the rapid rate of descent during the final seconds of approach. The sudden drop in airspeed caused by a loss of headwind due to the wind shear compounded the already difficult landing conditions. This loss of lift occurred at a critical moment, just as the aircraft was transitioning into its landing flare. Further analysis highlighted that the aircraft's near maximum landing weight added to the challenge. The heavier the aircraft, the greater the demand on the crew to manage the approach precisely. This, coupled with the unpredictable weather conditions, increased the risk of an unstable landing. Investigators also noted that the captain had reduced engine thrust prematurely during the flare. Combined with the loss of headwind, this action accelerated the descent rate, making it impossible to stabilize the aircraft before impact. Communication errors in the cockpit further complicated the situation. The confusion over whether the crew was cleared for runway 25 left or 25 right added unnecessary stress and disrupted their focus during a critical phase of the flight. Although the crew ultimately adjusted for the correct runway, the distraction contributed to the buildup of pressure in the cockpit. Environmental factors played a significant role as well. Tropical Storm Sam brought severe crosswinds, heavy rain, and turbulence, making this one of the most challenging landing scenarios for any flight crew. The storm's wind shear and variable conditions masked the critical loss of headwind until it was too late to recover. In response to this tragic event, China Airlines revised its operations, improving it to cater to situations like this in the future. First, they implemented updates to their training programs and stricter enforcement of SOPs. The airline also worked with Boeing to revise the MD-11's landing procedures, ensuring future crews were better prepared for similar scenarios. While the investigation uncovered critical lessons that have since improved safety protocols, it also left lingering questions. Could this tragedy have been avoided? Should the flight have been diverted, given the severity of the weather? And how can pilots and airlines better prepare for such extreme conditions? We'd love to hear your thoughts. What do you think could have been done differently? Share your perspectives in the comments below. And while at it, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible aviation stories like this one. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next one.